Today's episode of the BS Podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. That's our presenting sponsor and the best way to find tickets for MLB, NBA, NHL, Hamilton, you name it. I have SeatGeek on my phone. It's the easiest way to shop for the best tickets thanks to their revolutionary grading system. Right now, if you live in Chicago and you love the Boston Celtics and you're excited because Rondo just broke his thumb. I'm never excited for injuries, but this time I was excited. The Celtics are alive. Go to SeatGeek. There's lots of good seats. I mean, you could sit in row 13 for game 4. Oh, yeah, you could sit in row 19, game 4. It's, $300 ticket. It's drop in the hat. If you love the team and you want to be out there and really supporting Isaiah and the gang. No, they have good seats. They do the color coding thing, and the darker green it gets on the map, that's when you know you're getting a better deal. So Celtics fans, go in there, try to sneak some deals on SeatGeek for both Celtics, game 3 or game 4. We're also brought to you by the Ringer NFL Show. That's where you can find GM Street with Mike Lombardi. That's where you can find Andrew Luck's interview with Kevin Clark of the Ringer on the Ringer NFL Show, and a bunch of good draft content. Lombardi also has a new draft column coming early next week that I highly recommend. Check that out. Subscribe there. Subscribe to the Ringer NBA Show as well. So we unfortunately, just from a schedule standpoint, we had too many BS reports in a row here. We put up one on Wednesday, which was a NBA playoffs check-in with Jason Concepcion and Robert Mays. Then we put up another one yesterday with Deza Samero, who I've been dying to have on, the Bodega Boys. And we talked about a whole bunch of stuff, including the death of the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry and whether that could be revived. So those are in your podcast archives. Check those out. But I wanted to have one more. We taped an interview with Charlemagne the God yesterday, one of my favorites, who was on my HBO show at least once, but we became very friendly. He is an outspoken New York media personality, and also on MTV has a new book coming out. And we ended up talking a lot about the whole rap scene and stuff like that. But I want to talk playoffs really quick because it's 9:30 a.m. West Coast time. There's 3 games tonight, 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. Lots of subplots going. So we're going to talk about that. And then right after that, about the 20 to 25 minute mark of this podcast, you can hear me and Charlemagne talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Right now, Pearl Jam. All right, here we go. NBA playoffs. The big news, it happened an hour ago, and I was very concerned that the Celtics were either going to get swept or lose in 5 because I did not like the complete lack of fight that they showed in game 2. And I do agree with Rondo. I thought they quit. But unfortunately, Rondo's right thumb also quit on Rondo as it's fractured. And all I can tell you is I stepped on my game today. I'm wearing green Larry Bird socks. Look at these, Tate.
Those are nice.
Larry Legend socks.
Larry Legend. He's back.
I'm wearing my yellow Good Luck Celtics t-shirt that's brought me a lot of luck over the years. And I paid somebody to break Rondo's thumb. So I don't know what else I can do, people. I'm trying the best I can. Now, I will say this. Rondo is a tough MFer. The dude played with a dislocated elbow in the 2011 playoffs. Literally, it was dislocated. He played anyway. He tore his ACL in a game and finished the game. Anyone who thinks that Rondo isn't coming back for game 4 or game 5 has not followed his career. I would argue that of the guys that I've watched in the past 40 years, he's one of the 10 toughest, and certainly one of the toughest in the league, and one of those guys that just is playing unless the doctor says you can't play, your legs hanging off. So I just think he'll play. He'll be back. He's taking this seriously. And if you're the Celtics, you went from thinking that all the tragedy and all the terrible stuff that Isaiah Thomas went through this past week, inadvertently submarine their chances to win the series because he's the lifeblood of the team. He's the guy that even when they're not playing well can just pull a fourth quarter out of his ass and change the game and swing what should have been a loss into a win. And he was not the same guy. And in game 1, which I went to, the team was affected by it, as they should have been. but they were affected in a way of, it was such an emotional game, and they were so cognizant of all the different emotions he was going through minute by minute that, you could see it. They just weren't able to match the intensity that the Bulls had. And I went to that game, and the Bulls really bullied them and knocked them around and did all the stuff you have to do to win a playoff game. Game 2, the Celtics just sucked. And that happens with them, and that was one of the biggest reasons why I was not sold on them as a 1 seed. I was not willing to give up on them yet, though, because this is a pattern that they've had these last couple of years where every time it looks like, oh my God, the season's falling apart, or oh, this team's in a skid, they're not going to get out of it. That's when they would win. The best example is the West Coast trip, early March, I think, when post All-Star break, this team wasn't the same and just stopped making threes. Marcus Smart stopped making shots. Olynyk stopped making shots. Jaylen Brown started to hit the rookie wall. And it started to look like things were sliding away. And then they went to Golden State and they won. So they have a history of doing this. And I thought they were going to win tonight. Now with this Rondo thing, I don't know what to think, because sometimes if you're super confident and you think, oh, this is great, we're going to win, then, Grant comes in and starts making threes. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? They had Tate Portis in game 1.
Yep.
German guy Zipser.
Yeah.
Zipsic. Who is Zipsic? I think he was of the Red Sox once. The German guy comes in game 2. He's making shots. Sometimes it's just your series when stuff like that happens. I do think they had some rebounding advantages. They have Butler, who's playing great. But if in a playoff series, if just random guys start playing out of their ass, that's usually a bad sign. Like I look at the Milwaukee series, Milwaukee might be better.
Yeah. From a depth perspective, yeah.
They just might be more athletic, and Giannis is the best player in the series. And if you have the best player in the series, I don't know, 5 out of 6 times you're going to win the series.
Yep.
He's the best player in the series.
Absolutely.
They're super athletic. Defensively, they've just figured out how to throttle the Raptors, and they're making shots. Like I watched that first quarter this morning, actually, on NBA TV. And they're up by like 20 in the first quarter. They're making threes. And then on the other end, they're just shutting everyone down. And Giannis is just flying around like 7-foot Kawhi Leonard.
Yep.
I think they're for real. I thought the Raptors, I simultaneously thought they were going to make the finals, and I thought they could lose this Bucks series, which sums up the East in a nutshell.
It was a bad series matchup for them. What do you got to, like, DeRozan was 0 for 8. It was the only guy to ever go 0 for that averaged over 25 points per game in a playoff series like that.
I think,
Twice.
Everyone who watches the NBA knew Giannis was one of the 10 best players.
Yeah.
But I don't think America really knew it yet, because who the hell is going to watch the Bucks unless you're dorks like us that watch League Pass every night? And so I'm not surprised Giannis is doing this, but he definitely raised his game. Like he's making threes, and he's even in game 2 when it looked like they were just going to lose. He was like, no, we're not going to lose, and almost brought them back. There's some superstar stuff going on with him now that I did not really see the whole season.
And he's sort of like talking trash, like a little bit.
Yeah,
in the
he's
press
like
conferences, like he's got like a little bit of a cocky edge. I always remember
He's kind of an asshole. I like it.
I remember when they lost the game like a couple years ago, and he was like singing, going to the locker room, and people were like, "You can't do this. We just lost a game."
Yeah.
And he was like, "It doesn't doesn't affect me. We have bigger things on the horizon." And I was like, "Oh, this guy he's got a bigger plan."
I'm not willing to count the Raptors out because I think they have a lot of playoff experience.
And it happened like we've seen this before.
Yeah, it's 2-1. We've seen lots of teams come back from 2-1. I think that the thing that they need to do, what I've noticed from watching, is that they need to be a little nastier. Mm-hmm. They need to turn into a playoff series. They need to knock Giannis on his ass.
Yeah, DeMarre Carroll's not doing it. He's not stopping Giannis. They need someone else to just like man up on him. Like put PJ Tucker on Giannis. See how
put PJ Tucker on him for 40 minutes. Yeah. Get him. Try to get him into a fight. Like they need to turn into a hockey game.
There you go.
That's the difference. And I was looking at last night with the Bucks. Steve Kerr, when he used to do media, and he would come on my podcast, he always had a theory that the young team in the playoffs that it's going well, things are going their way, and then they have that game 3 at home. The fans show up an hour early.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, and then they come out, they lay an egg. Because there's so much energy and intensity, and it's a young team, and they're trying too hard, and they get away from what they're supposed to be.
They don't breathe.
The Bucks did the opposite. The Bucks had that energy intensity that came out, and they actually kicked Toronto's ass, which makes me think like, fuck, like I don't know what the ceiling is for this team.
Mm-hmm.
Because Giannis, I think is going to win an MVP someday.
Yeah.
I would say he's the best under 25 bet other than Davis. Davis would be the number 1 pick. Giannis would be the number 2 pick. Giannis is on a much better team. Somebody sent me a great email. Well, 2 emails actually. Simon in Vancouver asked, if you were the Bucks and the Cavs called right after the season and offered LeBron straight up for Giannis, would you take that trade? No way.
No.
He's 10 years younger.
Yeah, you have 14 more years of Giannis. You have what, like 6 more years of LeBron, maybe?
Yeah, depending on science. Maybe he'll play those 50. This is an even better email from Chris in Brooklyn. Why wouldn't Chris Paul opt out and go be point guard for the Bucks that have a lineup of Paul, Brogdon, Middleton, Giannis, and Monroe and Maker
with
Dele and Parker off the bench?
Oh, my God.
And he's like, if you're going to go ring chasing, is there a better up-and-comer to latch onto? I think not. My answer... Yeah, we'll see how much Chris Paul cares about winning because that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Chris Paul and the Bucks. Why wouldn't he do that?
Couldn't that be like Oscar Robertson going to play with like young Kareem?
Yeah, on the Bucks. It's a great idea. I love it. Now, Chris Paul, they basically made the Chris Paul rule in the CBA where he can sign, I think, like a 5-year extension for $300 gazillion with the Clippers.
NBA PA.
So he's staying. We'll see how much he cares about money versus the rings, because if he wants a ring, I would go to that Milwaukee team.
I like it.
And I don't know who else the in their prime or slightly past their prime point guards are out there, but all of them should be studying this Bucks team.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a spot-up shooter. If you're basically a good version of Dellavedova.
Yeah.
That should be your team.
What
JJ Redick.
Kyle Lowry?
Oh, that's awkward.
Larry pulls a Durant and goes for the Bucks.
Kevin O'Connor wrote a piece for us about like a month and a half ago, and Toronto got really mad about how Toronto would have to blow it up if they didn't do well in this
It's a
playoffs.
running joke on the Ringer NBA show that Kevin O'Connor wants to blow up every team in the NBA.
He does.
It's great.
We should call it TNT.
Yeah, just blow it up.
KOC-TOT.
Loves drama.
All right, so here's what we have tonight. Friday night, Celtics Bulls, 4 o'clock West Coast time, 7 o'clock East Coast. The biggest game in the Brad Stevens era. I'm just going to throw it out there. This is the first time he's taken a little heat back home.
Yeah, 2-10. I've seen that everywhere. That's
weird lineups.
Yeah.
Can really got outcoached by Hoiberg.
Yeah. Could Zeller start? That's what I heard, that Zeller could start to shut down Robin Lopez.
I don't think Zeller's going to shut down Robin Lopez. If anything, I think they have to go smaller.
Oh.
I would go Horford and Jerebko.
So Horford at the 5?
Yeah, I would go smaller. It's try to space them out and space out. They did this against Utah when they beat Utah in Utah. They spaced out Gobert with shooters all around and made it so Gobert had nowhere to go and he had to come away from the rim.
Yeah,
that's how you get Lopez to stop rebounding so much. Now I don't know how you stop the offensive boards, but they're gonna have to start boxing them out. Rockets Thunder is the second game. These games are great tonight. I mean, This is the best night of the year so far. Rockets Thunder. I think the series ends in 5. The Rockets are just better. And I regret my supporting cast argument now. I think the Rockets, I was like, it's relatively equal. It's not. The Rockets just have
better.
Now, if Westbrook trusted his dudes more, maybe that would flip it. But I think I was too high on Oladipo. I don't know whether playing with Westbrook has screwed him up or whether we just overrated him. And, it's not like he had a ton of success in Orlando. I always really liked him. I think it's weird that he can't guard Harden.
Yeah.
I always thought he was like this two-way guy, and just watching him closely, I thought he'd be able to shut him down. Adams, I don't know what happened to.
He just looks, neutered.
He just looks lost.
Doesn't look active.
So how much do you blame Russ for this? I don't know.
Yeah, everyone looks dejected. It looks like everyone has one dribble, then they have to pass it back to Russ.
Yeah.
Because you always say this about touching the ball. People like that. When you play basketball, you like to touch the ball. It looks like the whole Thunder team just looks like they don't get to touch the ball in the fourth quarter.
Basketball's not hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be involved. They came out in game 2, and they're up 16-4, and Westbrook had 2 points. And Oladipo was making plays, and Adams and Robertson made a play, and they looked like a team. And by the fourth quarter, I knew they were done in that game when they gave up, when they rested Westbrook, and they gave up a basket, and they showed Westbrook screaming at Donovan to put him back in. I was like, they're done.
Yeah.
Like if he doesn't even trust his team to hold the lead for 2 minutes. Now, Donovan played terrible lineups. You have to, Oladipo has to run the second team.
Yeah.
Samaj Christian, who's the worst player in the playoffs, we can't see him again. If he plays again, you're almost like trying to sabotage the team. Is there a worse playoff player than Samaj Christian?
I just don't understand how do they not have a better backup? I mean, is that like
there's 100 point guards in the NBA?
Is that like a complex with Russ where he doesn't want anyone to like give him like obviously we saw Reggie got sent out. You know, like the guys
Cameron Payne's
Eric
out.
Maynor. Yeah. There's tons of guys that have been there. Like even like a Ish Smith. Why can't Ish Smith be his backup point guard? Or someone just
that might have had Ish Smith.
Yeah, like there's plenty of options. Tim Frazier for the Pelicans.
There's point guards everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a million point guards
that are better than Samaj Christian.
The Celtics have Demetrius Jackson on their D-League team from Notre Dame who easily could have played 10 minutes a game for them in this series. There's 100 point guards, and there's going to be 10 more coming into this draft.
And all you really have to do on that second unit is be able to make an entry pass. Like if you want to get Adams or one of those guys.
Just don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Just don't turn the ball over and miss a three. I think simultaneously they need to go small, but they also can't run away from what worked for them last year. Last year when they almost beat the Warriors and they were up 3-1 in that series.
It's bully ball.
Yeah. Rebounds. It was two guys just hammering, and Ibaka was one of the guys. But if you really look at the minutes, like Gibson and Sabonis replaced the Ibaka minutes. Mm-hmm. Oladipo replaces the Durant minutes. That's tough.
Yeah.
And then the Waiters was playing 30 minutes a game for them in the playoffs, but you can replace him with Dougie McBuckets, and he's just a shooter. He's standing in the corner.
Yeah.
McDermott can do that. Yeah. I don't think this is inconceivable that they could replicate the Warriors thing. I was looking at their box scores from that Warriors series, and KD and Westbrook shot like shit in that series. They were like 20 for 55, 20 for 60 every game.
Yeah.
What was winning it and what was keeping them in was their rebounding and their defense.
Yep.
So
and second chance opportunities, tipping the ball out.
Yeah. They got to unleash. Adams has to bring them back if they have a chance, and I just think he's in a fog.
His one moment in the series was the screen on Beverly, and that instead of that like setting the tone for the Thunder, like flipped it for the Rockets. It seemed like Beverly loved that, and then it fired up the whole Rockets team to get back in the game, which was so weird.
Yeah. For the record, I thought Westbrook played an unbelievable 2.5 quarters, and then his fourth quarter was one of the most abominable basketball things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he took 18 shots, which is even in a pickup game with the most selfish guy you could ever play with. I've never seen anything like that.
Kobe was jealous.
Wide open. Yeah, Kobe was like, wow, this guy's selfish. He had Grant wide open in the corner. He had McDermott wide open. And what was interesting, because I watched that fourth quarter game pretty carefully, like the guys that kind of gave up. Like Taj Gibson was like, fuck this. Like he wasn't even rebounding. And you just can't do that. And I think that's the danger with him is it's like he wants it too badly.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't take a step back, calm down. I would bet on them winning tonight just because I think he's gonna get like 30 free throws.
Yeah.
But the Rockets are good, and they have the X factor of, oh, we're not playing that well. Oh, here's Lou Williams. Oh, he just scored 12 points in 5 minutes. And oh, here's Eric. Oh, Eric Gordon just made 2 threes. Like they have these wild card guys that might not show up, but sometimes they do.
Yeah. And Russ is averaging 11 3 attempts. The most in the playoffs of anyone.
Russ is
and shooting 23% from 3.
Anyone who defends Russ's second half of that game with the whole what teammates was going to pass to? It's like, well,
the open guy.
Yeah, he had any of the open guys, and he's shooting. He's 4 for 18, so obviously that didn't work out. And he was tired, and he knew it, and he's throwing up air balls, and that was embarrassing.
That's on Donovan a little bit, though. Like
it's on Donovan a lot of it.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Stand
about
up to your superstar.
I'm not yelling at Russ. I'm not blaming Russ. He obviously has a lot going on, but Donovan has to reel him back in some sort of fashion. I feel like.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It was the same thing with Kobe for many, many years. You just once they got in that mindset, you couldn't reel him back. Kobe in 03 and 04 for the Lakers, basically won one finals game in those 2 years with end of his prime Shaq and reaching his prime Kobe. It was because Kobe was so selfish those 2 years, and Shaq was out of shape. That didn't help either. Clippers Jazz. I thought the Jazz could have won game 2. Mm-hmm. They had a bunch of, my dad would always call these like get over the hump moments, where it's like they just couldn't get it to 3 or 2. And I think if they had, the Clippers would have gotten tight. And like Joe Johnson missed a couple huge threes. Hayward missed a couple big threes.
Hayward bricks threes in the fourth
Hayward
quarter.
was terrible in that game.
Yeah.
And I think the Clippers feel like Mbah Moute can actually guard him because he was playing a lot.
Yeah.
And
he seems very happy lately, Mbah Moute.
Yeah, because all he does is play defense and do backdoor layups.
Yeah, it's easy life.
But not good for Hayward's mega contract in the summer if he can't score on Mbah Moute. Now, I'm guessing the crowd's going to be crazy. They'll probably get some calls. They got to figure out what to do with DeAndre. I would personally do Hack-a-Shack on DeAndre when the Clips get in grooves.
Yeah, just take him out.
Just screw it out. Just mess up their rhythm. The other thing to watch in that series, the fact that Blake isn't posting up Diao and Joe Johnson is insane to me. This is the third best player in the league 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And if he can't score on those guys, if they're going to guard him one-on-one with Diao and Johnson, then that tells me like he's not a superstar anymore.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. Like you would have on your Charlotte team, if Cody Zeller was being guarded by Joe Johnson, you would go to Cody Zeller
every time. Or even like Frank Kaminsky.
Right. Blake Griffin can't guard. He's going to be shut down by Joe Johnson one-on-one.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to get him with a quick guy so he can't catch the ball at the elbow and like drive past him for that easy layup. But it's like, Blake, you can post people up in case you forgot.
It's weird because Utah's best advantage, and I think a lot of teams' best advantage against the Clips is speed. Because Chris doesn't want to run like that for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And George Hill started pressing it, and it kind of threw Chris out of his rhythm. The Gobert thing's a big deal, though.
Yeah, he's out. Yeah.
And he's not back until when?
They said late in the series, right? That's the last
not
word.
good.
Yeah, so
that's
like game 6, game 7.
I was there for game 2, and the guy sitting behind me at halftime said to me, who's a longtime Clipper fan, he's like, "Is this the last half we're ever going to see of Blake and Chris?" It was in the air.
Wow.
The Clips won, but it was in the air. Everybody in my section was at least cognizant of like, they blow this game, they're going to get swept. Team's going to get blown up. Mm-hmm. Doc Rivers is going to become the Orlando GM.
Yeah.
And Blake's going to be another team. It was sitting there. So
that's amazing.
Who'd you pick for that series?
I have the Clippers. I've already told you I do believe in the Clippers for whatever reason. I don't know why. I just think that continuity will play out. And I think Gobert really was favorable. Usually they have something bad happen to them, and this time 17 seconds to lose Gobert in a series is really sad for the Jazz.
I thought that they could swing it into an advantage because they could space the floor.
Yeah.
And they had different options, but that involves them making threes. And as this series keeps going and you're relying on threes, that gets dangerous.
I want a Roddy Hood game for the Jazz. I want him to have like 21 points.
I don't know how I feel about him.
Yeah. I believe in Rodney Hood.
Do you?
Yeah. Okay. And that's coming from a guy that doesn't like Duke basketball players.
Yeah, no, that's a big concession for you.
Yeah.
Saturday, Wizards Hawks. The Hawks blew it. I think they had to win game 3. And I think the crowd will be unbelievable for game 4, and I think they're better. And Dwight's going to do his Dwight Bola virus on the Hawks, and I'm writing them off. John Wall feels like it's his time. It's his time to at least have, I guess they would play the winner of the Celtics Bulls. Mm-hmm. Starting to feel like Washington's going to be in the Eastern Finals.
Yeah. I think that they got a good draw being that 4 seed.
Really good draw.
Yeah.
Spurs Grizzlies, that one. Pop felt like he threw away game 3 a little bit to make a point. I don't know what point he was making, but I didn't feel like they were playing for their lives in game 3.
It felt like the only guy he would talk to on the bench was Jonathan Simmons.
Yeah. He was mad at everybody.
Yeah, he wouldn't talk to anyone else.
It was like he went in the game going, "Oh, we don't have it tonight, and I'm going to just teach a point and get everyone pissed off." But it didn't feel like that game was a complete loss.
Yeah. LaMarcus Aldridge played good in the second quarter. I thought that they were going to like turn it around behind Aldridge, but then it was just like, oh no, this is just selfish Aldridge for a quarter, and he got his stats.
That's the thing with the Spurs is like you can like really land a haymaker on them every once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know how high their ceiling is as a team.
Kawhi didn't blink on the bench when he was sitting over there. He just was staring straight out.
I know. He's just
It was
mad.
great.
Warriors Trailblazers is over. It ended in the fourth quarter of game 1 when the Trailblazers threw haymakers at Golden State and got everything you'd want from their 2 best players. I think they finished like 80 points, and they still lost by 15. Mm-hmm. If your 2 best players play as well as they can play and you lose by 15, the series is over.
Yeah.
So they're going to get swept. Cavaliers Pacers. So last night, LeBron played one of the best 10 playoff games of his career. And I don't know.
It was almost too perfect how
great.
they fell behind, and then he came back.
Oh, you think
right
he did
on time.
intentionally? Yeah.
It was.
Okay.
He never seemed stressed by it. I will say that.
You know, I love those conspiracy hot takes.
And it was the biggest comeback after a halftime deficit. It was 26. The deficit before that was 25. So makes history.
Well, it's great. They'll close it out. They'll win game 4. They'll get some rest. They would play the winner of Toronto-Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's a bad matchup for them.
Yeah, I think they want Toronto.
Yeah.
I think they desperately want
And
Toronto.
I thought Toronto was a team that matched up really nice for them. But now I'm looking at them like they don't want to see Giannis. Now, maybe Giannis will pull another level out of LeBron that we haven't seen in a while. I'm trying to think who the last great forward that he played in a playoff series. I guess it was Kawhi in the finals.
Yeah, or Durant. I compare that Bucks
Durant
team
in
to
12?
like the young Thunder team where
Yeah.
like LeBron can pull the seniority and those guys get like a little tight because they're playing against like quote unquote the greatest player.
I don't know if Giannis is going to get tight.
He
I
doesn't
feel like
look
he
like
gives zero fucks.
I
He
agree.
really does. I
And
mean,
Thon and Brogdon, all those young guys don't look like they care. They
I
just
think
like
Giannis
energy.
was like, I was living on the streets in Greece, like begging people for money. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be nervous because of a playoff game. I'm already playing with house money.
Yeah.
That guy's had a rough life and just does not give a shit.
Yeah.
He's a tough dude, man. So
That's why I feel like the Raptors are going to come back. But I'm pulling for the Bucks.
all right, so here's my predictions, Tate, and then we're going to throw it to Charlotte, man.
Cool.
We have Celtics Bulls. I think it goes 7, and I don't know who wins. I think it goes 7 now.
I hope it goes 7.
Yeah, that would be fun. Cavs Pacers is done in 4.
Yep. Where does Paul George go from here? The Miami Heat?
He's just a... Get over yourself, Paul George. Get over yourself.
Yeah. That's CJ Miles'
Be a
comment.
better
I won't
teammate.
get over that. Yeah.
be a better teammate. You killed your team when you undermined CJ Miles in game 1. Toronto, Milwaukee is... I'm just not giving up on Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to bet my life on it, I would say Milwaukee in 6. But I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet on this series.
Kyle
I
Lowry,
could see Toronto winning game 4.
Yeah, it seemed like Lowry was pretty set on that they were going to flip it around. He was like, it sucks right now, but we'll be back.
They need Kyle Lowry to be awesome in game 4.
Yeah.
They need him to destroy everybody in the Bucks in game 4. They need a vintage, old school Kyle Lowry game, but maybe he's not healthy.
Yeah.
That might be, I mean, that wrist injury, that was my one hesitation with picking them. Washington, Atlanta will somehow go to 6. And then Washington will win, and Joe House will freak out, but they'll end up pulling out. Golden State's going to sweep. San Antonio will win in 5. Houston wins in 5. Clippers, Utah is the one that I just have no feel for. I don't know when Gobert comes back. I don't trust the Clips.
I think the Clippers are going to win in 5, and I think that they should have swept, but it's just like the Clippers not to sweep by losing that game 1. I think without Gobert, they should sweep the Jazz.
Well, if you go by best guy in the series,
Yeah.
for every series, the best guy in the series is going to win every series. If just assuming everything holds, right? And the best guy in that Utah series is Chris Paul.
Yep.
He's also the biggest asshole in that series. I mean, he now stomps around like he's yelling at guys. He's yelling at assistant coaches.
Yes.
He is the angriest I've ever seen him. He just wants
That's
it so
how I
bad.
believe.
He's like one of those angry police sergeants in an 80s drama. Quickly, a couple mailbag questions, then we'll get to Charlemagne. Joshua Benton asks, the Cavs are proven to be the Robert Durst of the 2017 playoffs. When are they going to get caught? My answer, I don't know. I like the Robert Durst analogy, though. Brian Atlanta asks, if you had to win one game, would you choose LeBron at the height of his powers or Jordan? My answer, stop it.
Yeah, unequivocally,
Just
Jordan.
stop it. Just stop. William Jacobs wonders, I've heard people say the Celtics should send someone besides Isaiah Thomas to the lottery. Isn't he the exact person we need there? My answer, Tommy Heinsohn. Tommy Heinsohn has been involved with the Celtics since 1956. He is the living legend that we have, and our direct tie to Red Auerbach and Russell and all those guys. I would send Tommy Heinsohn.
Nice.
Tyler from Seattle asks, can we officially add Camilla beating Laurel in this week's challenge elimination to the list of improbable upsets of the past year? It may be more improbable than the Cubs or Cavs. Laurel is literally the Predator and Alien's robot love child. Camilla is 5'3" at best and is either hammered, screaming at her team, trying to fight someone, or all three at once. Are we sure Cousin Sal didn't bet on Laurel to win it all before the season started? My answer, we're not sure. And I agree with you. I would say it was not as improbable as the Pats coming back from 28-3, but more improbable than the Cubs or the Cavs. Because Camilla is 5'3" and 100 pounds and is literally drunk all the time. Joshua from Fayetteville, Arkansas says, you called this the Rondo-sance. The Renaissance was right there. My answer, you're right. It should be the Renaissance.
Is good.
It's better than the Rondo-sance.
Yeah, I like Renaissance.
Renaissance is good. Andrew asks, if you type Miami Vice into the Ringer search box, you get the following message. Quote, no stories found in the Ringer. Does a different Bill Simmons own this site? My answer, unacceptable, and people are going to get suspended. I'm very upset about this. It's really, I have nothing to say other than just regret and apologies. Jeff Heiger in Evansville, Indiana asks, with all due respect to you and House concerning trying to figure out Karl Malone's signature move, doesn't it have to be him giving Isaiah Thomas 40 stitches? My answer, yes.
Yeah.
He didn't like the whole John Stockton made the dream team over Isaiah. The next game after it was announced, Isaiah torched John Stockton. The next game after that, 40-stitch elbow.
Yeah. The mailman delivers. The
most vicious thing that happened in the past 25 years or past 30 years of the NBA, I would say. Intentional flying elbow.
Yeah.
And split his eye open. And he still, you can see it on NBA TV, is the giant scar on his left.
But Isaiah loved it. That's
secretly.
Secretly loved it.
Jake from Minneapolis wonders, Towns is the first player in NBA history to score 2,000 points, collect 1,000 rebounds, and to make 100 three-pointers in a season. You're the king of coming up with club names. What would you name this club? My answer, the 2,000, 1,100 club. Why are we getting fancy?
In 3,000 minutes.
Chris Haneke wonders, where's when the championship? KD gets his ring. Russ wins the MVP. Thanks, KD, in his speech. KD decides to re-sign with OKC. You can't totally rule this out, can you? My answer, yes.
Yes.
He's not, as long as the current owners and front office is running OKC, Kevin Durant will not be at OKC.
Yeah.
I would not rule it out 10 years from now. Two more. Kobe and Shaq won 3 titles. Russ and KD are future Hall of Famers. But Vin Diesel and The Rock have now made 4 blockbuster movies together for the obvious best franchise of all time. What is your power ranking for most successful disgruntled teammates? That's from Tyler in Patchogue, New York. I still have Kobe and Shaq first.
Yeah.
Those guys genuinely hated each other. And then when Kobe got arrested for the hotel thing, and he gave his deposition that the smoking gun had the deposition for.
Yeah.
And he threw Shaq under the bus.
Yeah, he snitched.
He snitched on Shaq. I still think that, to me, that's number one, that they won 3 titles and that happened.
Can't beat that.
Wow. All right, last one, and then we'll get to Charlemagne. From Tyler Lowy. Why hasn't anyone proposed the idea of dangling the MVP trophy from the Jumbotron during the Rockets Thunder series like a Money in the Bank match? My answer, brilliant.
Yes.
I think there's still time.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Could you imagine Russ and Harden just staring up at the MVP trophy in the middle of games?
That's a great idea. I love it. All right. Before we get to Charlemagne, what if you stopped wasting money on expensive takeout orders? What if you signed up with Blue Apron? For less than $10 per meal, Blue Apron delivers easy-to-follow seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients right to your door. They have the highest standards and build a community of home chefs with no rival. No more overspending at restaurants or high-end grocery stores. With Blue Apron, prepare delicious, memorable meals yourself in under 40 minutes. Some of the meals available in April include spinach and fresh mozzarella pizza with olives, bell peppers, and ricotta salata. Sweet and sour salmon with bok choy, carrot, and ginger fried rice. Parmesan crusted chicken with creamy fettuccine and roasted broccoli. I would eat all of these. Baby broccoli and fontina paninis with hard-boiled egg and arugula salad. Right now, you can get your first 3 Blue Apron meals for free with free shipping. Just go to blueapron.com/BS. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to our Ringer MLB show on TuneIn that you can find them for free all month. And if you do a deal right now, what is it? TuneIn.com/ringer. 60-day free trial for TuneIn. We love TuneIn. If you're a transplant, like if you're a Boston fan living in LA and you get TuneIn, you can listen to your Celtics announcers, your Red Sox announcers, your Patriots announcers, whoever. It's fantastic. I love having Sean Grandy back in my life for Celtic games. It's been good. So anyway, check out TuneIn.com/ringer. And you can get our little 60-day free trial for Ringer Premium and hear all of those games. They have all the rights to MLB, NBA, all that stuff. Last thing, I jumped on the Oilers bandwagon last night, Tate.
Nice.
Overtime.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Overtime. 3-3. Yeah. I got into it. I really like McDavid. I got excited every time he had the puck. It was one of my best unadulterated bandwagon jumps in a while.
Yeah, I'm not a huge hockey head, but when I do think of Connor McDavid, I think of that Grantland video and you. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Taken.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Charlemagne the God, and enjoy the weekend. Go Celtics. Taping this on a Thursday morning. I'm not sure when it's going up, so if anything crazy happens between this taping and when you actually hear this, don't blame us. Charlemagne the God is here.
Bill Simmons, what's up, my brother?
Author.
Yeah,
Black Privilege.
Yeah, opportunity comes to those who create it. It came out this week. You know, it's 8 principles that I learned in my life that I just want to share with the people. You know, I always say I'm too dumb to be closed-minded. So all I have, you know, education-wise, is just the sum total of my experiences. So I'm just sharing some experiences with the people. And I'm a big self-help guy. Like, I love self-help books. Like, I love Gladwell. I love Wayne W. Dyer. I love Robert Greene. But all those guys are way smarter than me. And they have, historical examples to back up their principles.
Yeah.
I don't have that type of historical context historical education in my brain, so I'm just using, examples from my life.
What's the number one favorite example that you have in this book?
Principle 7,
okay.
Give people the credit they deserve for being stupid, including yourself. Because that's basically the know-it-all knows nothing. Because like I just said, I'm too dumb to be closed-minded. So I have to be receptive to new information. I have to be receptive to new people. Like I talk about the Drake and DJ Khaled song, No New Friends, and how I hated that record. Not because of how it sounded sonically, but just the message in it. Because it's like that, no new friends, no new friends. Like, no, you should meet new friends. You should grow and evolve and meet new people that can teach you new things and help you get to new levels and new places. Like, why would you close yourself off from new friends? That's closing yourself off from new information, which I think is stupid.
Do you think this is the most interesting time for music and music personalities since you've been doing your show? 2017. All these different famous people at different points of their career, and the way they're releasing music has totally changed, and just everything about it, trying to put out the perception of who you want people to think you are versus who you actually are. I'm fascinated by all this stuff.
I'm very fascinated. That's one reason I named the subtitle of the book Opportunity Comes to Those Who Create It, because I feel like we live in this era where it's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Like, there's no rules. Like, remember back in the day, you had all these gatekeepers. You had people that had to press the button to make this happen, or you need to press the button to make this thing go. Like, now you can just be your own machine. Like, there are no gatekeepers anymore, because there's no gates. Like, if you want to be a broadcaster, you could just start a podcast. If you want to do TV, you could just turn your video camera on. If you want to do music, you could just go do music and put it out on SoundCloud, and you may get an audience. And it's like everybody's scrambling to catch up with you. Record labels are scrambling like, yo, who's this guy? This guy's already sold 500,000 records, got 500,000 streams. Our radio's like, this record's already red hot. Like, he's got 40 million listens on SoundCloud. Like, why aren't we playing this? Like, it's a free-for-all. It's the perfect era to just create your own opportunity.
Chance is the most fascinating one of all of them, because he's basically eschewed the labels.
Yeah,
and he owns all his own stuff, basically.
Yeah, it's this big debate going on whether or not Chance is independent, because his last project, Coloring Book, he actually sold. Well, he gave it to Apple to be exclusive for like a week or 2 days or something, but they gave him a $500,000 check. To me, that's the epitome of independence.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can give you my project, and for a couple days you have it exclusively. I get $500,000, and then I can still give it to the people. Like, that's independence, like a mother effer. Like, that's when you really control your own masters, you control your own destiny, you control your own product. Like, I love what he's doing. I don't know why these kids are signing to major labels nowadays.
So what makes you want to stay with the Breakfast Club? Because that's like basically on a major label, but you could also have your own thing if you wanted to.
That's a very good question, but I think
I mean, obviously you have a great thing going. It'd be stupid to leave, but you must have thought about another direction too.
No, I think it fuels everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I always tell people, like you got to know, you can be a general and a soldier simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like, I got my own podcast, The Brilliant Idiots, and, I got other things that I'm the executive producer of that I actually own. I'm the general there. But, when I'm with The Breakfast Club and iHeart, I'm a soldier, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because I can use that platform to boost my other platforms.
Right. So I did that show, I guess, in November, December, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And you have the person in the middle, but Angela's on the left.
Yep.
You're on the right.
Yep.
And then DJ's in the kind of facing.
Everybody calls him DJ.
So you gotta go. you gotta do this. So you're doing this the whole time. So you have the guest on. You have the guest almost on their heels the whole time.
It's like
I liked it.
Yeah, it's like a triangle of death.
But somebody gets shut out. Like I felt like I didn't give Angela enough love, and I felt like I think her feelings were hurt by the end.
It's all about your angle.
I didn't flirt with her enough.
Oh, you thought she'd?
Well, no, I didn't flirt with her. I didn't engage her. I don't feel like. I didn't put my arm around her after. Like I have a lot of regrets.
They're gonna call you misogynistic for that, though.
What?
Because they're gonna.
Well, I would have felt the same with you if I had spent most of.
I was most of the time
turned toward you.
You could have said I didn't feel like I flirted with you enough. I didn't flirt with DJ enough.
I didn't feel like she was totally engaged.
Well, I got to flirt with her because she's a girl, a woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I didn't feel like she was totally engaged. I felt like I could have done more.
Yeah, we live in that hypersensitive era, though. I don't even be knowing when I'm offending people anymore.
Well, you don't give a fuck, which I
no,
love.
I don't.
You give zero fucks.
No, I can't because it's too stressful.
Yeah.
Like, this is my thing. That's why I say you got to give people the credit they deserve for being stupid, including yourself. Like, I'm okay with learning. Don't jump down my throat because y'all have new ways of doing things now that I'm just not accustomed to.
Right.
I'm older. You know what I'm saying? I'm older than y'all. Like, for example, the word female. Like, I called a young lady a female, like, just in, like, female.
We're not allowed to do that anymore?
They say it's offensive.
What?
Yes, because they say you're not being specific. Like meaning that there's female. This is what a young lady told me verbatim. There's female rock snakes. There's female kangaroos.
Yeah.
So you have to say female human.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, I don't know. I can't. I'm confused. I was at Harvard last week. They boycotted me. Well, they didn't boycott me, but some of the kids boycotted me. They said I was transphobic, misogynistic, and homophobic. I said, when? I'm literally the only person online that's everything. Like, you'll go online and you'll see somebody call me gay, then you'll see somebody call me homophobic. You'll see somebody call me a racist and see somebody call me an Uncle Tom. Like, I'm literally the only person that's everything.
You're something to everybody.
Yeah. So I'm like, when did I become homophobic and transphobic? So I'm like, what are the examples that y'all have of me saying that? They were upset because when I interviewed a lesbian rapper named Young M.A., she has a line in her song that says, "Shorty gives me head and she deep throats." So I'm like, how? Like, so when she came to the show, I asked her, how? Did she suck the scrap on? Right. How is that pleasurable to you? That's like getting a tattoo on a fake arm and saying ouch. And they were like, that's transphobic. I'm like, I had no idea. So I'm sitting there talking to these kids at Harvard and they're telling me terms like homo normal, heteronormal. I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now. I have no idea, but I'm open to learning.
That's part of your book. You don't know what you don't know, and you're gonna learn stuff.
So you can't be offended at me just because I don't know. I'm not. Yeah. I don't know. So
I said this when I came on your show, which I loved. Mm-hmm. I had so much fun when I came on, but I'm very envious of anybody who can just get away with saying anything, and there's not a lot of there's fly by the seat of your pants, just go say stuff, and certain people just reach this point where I don't want to say it's acceptable, but people go, oh, well, that's them. They can do it. Like I had Desus and Mero on.
Love Desus and Mero.
On the pod this week. And I feel like they're hitting that point. I think the Breakfast Club is in that point. I think Howard Stern's on that point.
Joan Rivers was.
Barkley was there, and now people kind of come at him with stuff. So it was like he had it, but it's very hard to get to, and you guys are there, and I'm envious of it.
I think it's because number one, Charles Barkley's black, and Charles Barkley speaks out against the black community a lot. That's what I think it is. Because let's be clear, there is nobody that can get you out of the paint faster than Black Twitter.
Right.
When they are ready to get you up out of there, you are done. I've seen they got Bill Cosby, they got Nate Parker, they got O'Reilly. Like when O'Reilly insulted, everybody talks about those sexual harassment allegations. No, when O'Reilly insulted Queen Maxine Waters about her wig, they jumped on his ass, and it's been all downhill from there. I don't even call him Bill O'Reilly anymore. I call him Bill O'Rapey. That's his name, Bill O'Rapey from the O'Rapey Factor.
Well, I think yesterday he got bounced.
Yeah, he got bounced, which was shocking.
$13 million in sexual harassment suits is a lot. Like that's like you could get a backup power forward for 4 years for $13 million.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of money.
But he's an asshole though. But I mean, I don't know him personally, but people that I have friends at Fox. I don't know.
He sounds like an
Am I allowed to say that as a
asshole.
black person? I have friends at Fox. But I have friends at Fox, and they always say he's an asshole. So it's like I talk about that in my book, how manners will take you where money won't. Like if you're a genuinely nice person, people may have your back. So they had his back up to a certain point because he was making money. But you know, when those advertisers started pulling from his show, they was just looking for a reason to get rid of Bill already. But if Bill was probably a genuinely nice guy that people liked, they're probably like, all right, you know, we can support you.
What's the best thing about Black Twitter?
The best thing about Black Twitter is that they can blow things up. They can blow things up for positive and negative. Like they can either empower things like they do with like Issa Rae's show Insecure, or you know, Shonda Rhimes' Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder and all that stuff like that, or they can destroy you like they did when they found out, you know, Nate Parker had been accused of rape 17 years ago and Birth of a Nation was coming out. Like that movie disappeared. Y'all forgot that even came out. That was supposed to be the big Oscar thing. That was supposed to be the movie that made Oscar So White disappear. Right. We're going to give this black liberation story an Oscar. It's going to be the belle of the ball, but Moonlight ended up being that. They empowered Moonlight. Right. You know, so I think the best thing about Black Twitter is they can empower things and they can destroy things.
What's the worst thing that Twitter's done to your show that you thought was unfair?
Oh, man. I mean, that's easy. And I don't even like talking about it, but I mean, I have to. I just literally was on texting somebody like, they keep asking me about this, but now it's me talking about it. Tommy Lauren. When I met Tommy Lauren once in my life. She was supposed to come on the Breakfast Club the same week she did Trevor Noah's show. And I guess after she didn't do so well on Trevor, they pulled her from our show. And then I went up to Viacom because, you know, I work at MTV and MTV2. I got a show called Uncommon Sense Live that comes on Fridays at 11:30. But I was up there because somebody up there had a bright idea that Charlamagne and Tommy would be good on the show together, because I went on her show and, you know, debated her about the Black Panthers. So I went up there to have the meeting, no intention of doing the show or nothing. I really just wanted to have a conversation with her about how dangerous her rhetoric is to the black community. So we actually sat down and chopped it up about that. You know, I was explaining to her, you know, the things she says about the BLM are not accurate. She compared the BLM to the KKK. And her reasoning for it was because she said she saw a video where some guys were walking and marching about wanting to kill cops. And then she was actually in Dallas the night that that guy went crazy and shot those police officers. Yeah. And she was getting texts, you know, to her phone saying she's next. And they put her parents' address out there. So I understand why she felt the way she felt. I don't agree with it, but I understood. So I said to her, well, you're a Trump supporter, right? And she goes, yeah. I go, are all Trump supporters racist? And she goes, of course not. She goes, when I go to these rallies, a lot of them are, but it's some of us who are just anti-government and want somebody to drain the swamp. So I said, how come you can see the nuance in the Trump supporters, but not the nuance in the BLM? All Trump supporters aren't racist. All BLM members don't want to kill cops. So why can't you see that? So that was the type of conversations that we were having. Met her one time in my life. But what I messed up, a couple days later, I tweeted out, and this is a conversation I should have had on my podcast or a conversation I should have had on radio. That's the lesson I learned from this. I tweeted out, it'd be dope if a woke woman of color created a platform to control her narrative and control our narrative and become a voice like Tommy Lauren did. Oh my God. I was trending on Facebook for like 2 days.
So people thought you were complimenting her?
Yes. They thought I was telling black women to be like Tommy Lauren. When all I was talking about was infrastructure. Right. That's all that, like her Facebook is popping.
You're saying the role model of her path.
That's it.
You wish that a black woman could do a similar version of it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like of course I'm not comparing none of the sisters to Tommy Lauren. They're smarter, they're more intelligent, like they'll run circles around Tommy. I was just talking about infrastructure, but what I learned is certain conversations should not be had on social media. That is the conversation I should have explained to people.
I don't know if I've totally learned that yet, even though I've been burned many times.
Yeah.
It's just tough. Sometimes
you ain't get that black Twitter roasting.
Well, the problem with social media is It's 140 characters.
Yeah.
And you're not putting a lot of thought into it. And I've learned over the years, like if I'm going to tweet something, and sometimes I'll screw up, but for the most part, it's like I'm putting thought into this. This is going out in the world. Because if you're in your car, you're getting coffee, you're in your house in your pajamas.
Yeah.
It's just president that goes. You forget, like, boom.
And
it's
then
going to be seen by all these people, and you better make sure the words are the way you want them to
Well,
be.
let's do a social experiment. You should pull out your phone right now and tweet out,
No.
I think Bill O'Reilly's misunderstood. and watch what happens. Watch what happens.
Well, I
That'd be
remember
crazy.
Patton Oswalt had a great series of tweets once where the tweet kept cutting off. It was like 9 or 10 tweets in a row, and the tweets kept getting cut off, but they were continuous. But
Yeah.
if you just saw the individual tweet, each one was like super offensive.
Yeah, Twitter's
but then it would lead to the next one.
Yeah, it's a bad chain letter.
Yeah.
Like, because literally, if you literally followed my timeline that night, I explained exactly what I was talking about.
They don't care.
They don't care. They took that one tweet out of context, ran with it. It went from me wanting women of color to have the infrastructure that Tommy has to Charlamagne hates black women.
Right.
I'm like, huh?
You've had that happen a couple times, right? Like that time you got jumped.
Yeah, well, that wasn't because I got jumped on Twitter by black women, but I got jumped.
No, you
in the
literally
street.
got physically jumped.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you ran for your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then didn't you take shit because people were like, you didn't?
No, because I talk about that in the book too. That's part of the Live Your Truth chapter. That's one of my principles. Live your truth so nobody can use your truth against you. And that's the Eminem and 8 Mile theory. Because at the end of 8 Mile, B. Rabbit said everything he possibly could say about himself. So it left his opponent speechless and defenseless. So when that...
It's a good theory.
Yeah, when that happened, that can I get a drop moment, I immediately, when I ran into the building, I ran right to the microphone. And was like, shout out to those dudes who just tried to jump me outside. I talked about the story all morning. I didn't try to make it seem like I fought them and I ran. Dude hit me in the back of the head. I've heard way too many stories about dudes getting kidnapped in New York. And I saw the guy with the camera. I didn't know if they were going to try to hold me down and pee on me. They had a plan. And whatever their plan was, I wasn't going to let that plan go through. So I took off and I would do it again right now. I'm not fighting 4 guys at one time. So when I told the story, when the video came out, it softened the blow.
Yeah.
Like people still got their jokes off. They still get their jokes off to this day, but they really couldn't kill me. They couldn't use it against me because I already had owned it.
Does it scare you that the platform that you have led to 4 people who wanted to beat the shit out of you and actually tried to do it?
Nah, because I've seen it happen to so many people before. Like I always think about Chris Everett when he jumped on Jim Rome. You remember that?
Oh, Jim Everett. Well, because Jim Rome kept calling him Chris Everett.
That's Jim's fault. Jim's fault. It's Jim's fault. I called him Chris just now.
Yeah.
But he kept, he did that. And so I always think about stuff like that. Like that I think about the guy when he got stabbed on Cheaters.
Do we know if that happened or not? I'm still not positive
I don't
that
know if it was
happened.
real.
Joey Greco.
Yeah, Joey Greco. So I think about stuff like that. I'm like, it's possible. Like you can't say what you want to say and expect people to react the way you want them to react. I hate people that do that. I hate people that say something and then when somebody jumps out the window and reacts in a way they don't like, they be like, yo, you're overreacting, man. No, who am I to tell you this person that they're overreacting?
When did the Breakfast Club get to the point when it became the go-to place for basically all the black pop culture power brokers?
That's a good question, man. I think
like 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
I'll say about I'll say maybe 2014 because I remember I remember
the Kanye stuff was the stuff that really pushed you to the next level, right?
It was the first Kanye interview that took us to like a mainstream level, but it was actually the second Kanye interview that took us over the top. But it was that week. It was a culmination of that week because I remember like it was yesterday. This is when Tiger first started dating Kylie Jenner, right? So he was denying it. So for whatever reason, Tiger...
He was denying it because she was like 15.
Boom.
Yeah.
He was redshirting her.
Yeah.
So he came to the Breakfast Club to defend it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, Amber Rose came first and was giving Tiger shit about it. Then Tiger came to defend it. And for whatever reason, Kanye came the end of the week to do his second interview. And Kanye basically was like, this is why I love coming to this show because this is like the epitome of pop culture. And I remember that week because I remember Harvey Levin calling me and saying, yo, congratulations.
Let's team up.
Yeah. Harvey posted a lot of our stuff, but he was just like, yo, congratulations. Y'all guys have become like a pop culture hotbed. And then like last year was a big year because the same week, people forget this.
Because I was on?
You, of course. No, it's true. It's guests like you give us a different audience. It's like a crossover thing.
Yeah.
But Hillary Clinton came on a Monday.
Yeah.
Now the whole Hillary and the hot sauce thing. And I told her this one of them times they're going to say you're pandering to black people again. And then Birdman was that Friday. So it was 1 week. So it's just
Birdman.
like, yeah, we get those moments where it's just like the whole week is Breakfast Club
Birdman
content.
was the one that seemed like he wanted to fight everybody, right?
Yeah, put some respect on my name.
That was pretty great. He
Most amazing
when the
2 minutes,
guest
20
comes
seconds.
in that angry and that hot, I don't even know. I wouldn't even know what to do.
You don't do anything. You turn the
Just kinda
cameras
let it-
on. If you watch the video, I already had told him because I saw him outside. This is a true story. He was in the lobby and Eminem "Lose Yourself" was playing.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was coming from, but it was playing, and he was just pacing back and forth. So I go wide shot.
Yeah.
So if you notice, if you watch the video when he walks in,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a
you're
wide
right.
shot.
Yeah.
All the cameras are on. And then he starts talking. He curses us out and then sits down for the interview. And then Envy starts the interview. And I'm like, oh, no, we're not just getting away from that. I'm like, okay, this guy just cursed us out. And let's get it in. And he was like, nah, I already said what I needed to say. I was like, well, say it. We on the air. But the camera was rolling the whole time. Like, I knew that was going to be gold.
Was that the closest you came to an altercation in the studio?
No, actually, I think it's never the guys that are like rah-rah and real hostile that bother me. It's the cool, calm, collected guys. The one time I really thought I was about to get my ass beat in the studio was Nelly.
Really?
Yeah, because I think Nelly's an athletic guy. He's in shape. And he was just sitting in there, and I said something to him. I was like, Nelly, you cold out here right now. Ain't nobody checking for pimp juice. Like, like you're cold. Like, you're just cold. Like, you're not hot as an artist no more. And he kind of like cracked his knuckles, and he goes, man, I keep retainers for guys like you. It's basically saying I got to keep lawyers on retainer for guys like you. I'll give you a couple shots to the head. You sue me. Here's this $40,000. Get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? But I really felt like Nelly would have swung on me.
So did you respond, it's getting hot in here?
I just fell back, because I'm not ever purposely trying to push anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just
That's
honestly
kind of
not.
insulting that you said that, though.
What?
That you said that he was cold as an artist. I mean, that's not.
He is.
He was. That's a very
time.
upfront thing to say.
Yeah, musically he was at the
Yeah.
time. Nelly is a legend, no doubt. Like Nelly walk in this room, everybody knows who Nelly is, but you're not playing Nelly music right
Well,
now.
now I know not to mess with him if he's got people on retainer for people like us.
And then Nelly used to play baseball, football.
Yeah.
Nelly, I'm never scared of like loud, out of shape rappers. Like that don't scare me. The loudest person in the room is usually the softest anyway. It's the cool, calm, collected guys who calmly tell you like, this is not what you want right now. Relax. You know who did that to me too? Robin Thicke. Robin Thicke pulled me to the side one time and was like, I really don't appreciate none of the shit you be saying about me.
Robin Thicke.
Robin fucking Thicke. Because he was at the MTV offices one time. This is a true story. This is years ago. I had just started at MTV and he was taking a shit. And he like the bathroom was fucked up. Like it was funky as hell. And so when he walks out, I'm just looking at him like, look at this guy in this clean cut suit and all these girls running up on him and they have no idea what he just did in the bathroom just now. So I was telling that story. And he just did not appreciate that at all. Yeah.
Robin Thicke. Mm-hmm. Him and his dad, I think, are the premier father-son stickmen.
Really?
I mean, his dad passed away last year, tragically, but I think the two of them, they've had a lot of sex.
Yeah, they probably smashed all the Hollywood.
Robin Thicke.
I can't think of nobody else. You don't think Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen, maybe?
That gets dark, though.
Yeah, it does get dark.
It's the non-dark father-son stickman combo.
Once you get age, you went too far.
The Sheens are, that's a rough story. Who?
Clint Eastwood and his son.
Oh, that's a good one. You think Clint Eastwood?
Clint Scott.
Clint definitely got. I don't know who Scott is. Clint definitely got a lot of pussy.
Scott's the Paul Walker replacement in Fast 8.
Oh, I've never watched a Fast and Furious movie in my life. Why would
well, if you watch Fast 8, there's a new white guy that you don't totally recognize to replace Paul Walker. That's Scott Eastwood.
I've never watched a Fast and the Furious movie ever in my life.
So you had Kanye twice. Kanye is my dream podcast. He'd be my number one choice. If I had a fantasy draft of like top 10 podcast possibilities.
He's in LA. He's right in Calabasas.
Kanye and Michelle Obama would be my top 2.
I love Michelle Obama.
Have you had Michelle Obama on yours?
No, I haven't. I'm actually doing something with Michelle soon though. Like, I don't know if she's going to be there, but I'm not supposed to talk about that? Oh, never mind.
All right, we'll cut it out. We'll cut that part out.
No, you don't have to cut it.
No, we'll cut it. It's fine. It's good, man. That's why it's a podcast.
Huh? Yeah, I might be doing something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep it.
But Kanye's interesting. I think Kanye.
So what was your read? Just as guy to guy, dude to dude.
I was an
sitting
upset fan.
5 feet away with him.
Upset fan. I'm a disgruntled fan.
First time you're disgruntled, or the whole time you're disgruntled?
First time. Second time I respected the fact he came back.
Because you went at him the first time.
Yeah.
It was like uncomfortable.
Yes, because I was upset because he's out here talking about all of these things that we don't give a fuck about.
Right.
I don't care that the fashion industry won't accept you. I like when Kanye was socially conscious Kanye and was saying things like George Bush doesn't care about black people. Like we were at a very tumultuous time. We're still at a very tumultuous time in this country. We need voices that gonna stand up and speak out against the injustices black people are facing. And he's out here ranting about sneakers.
Yeah.
And clothes? Like, I don't want to hear that, bro. Like, we don't care. And then I hated the thing when he kept saying, he came out with the song New Slaves. And you come out with the song New Slaves, but then you're yelling and screaming for these corporate entities to embrace you. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's a mixed message. Like, either you want to be of the corporate fashion industry or you don't. Like, you can't say you're a new slave, but then, like, Nike, sign me. Or Gucci, Louis, love me. Like, what? Come on, make up your mind. So,
Well, I would also argue that he's had the biggest impact on sneakers of probably anyone this decade, right?
you think?
Well, just like the Yeezys and all that, like just how cool and unique they were. I'm gonna ask
Past
Tommy. What do you
decade?
think, Tommy? Who's had the biggest impact this decade? Overrated, Tommy says.
He's top 3.
Who's number 1?
LeBron.
LeBron's
Yeah.
shoe isn't selling though.
Steph Curry got people to wear.
Steph Curry, the Under Armour stock tanked
Trash.
after the chefs.
I know. No, I thought they went up.
Under Armour. I had the Under Armour stock.
I thought Under Armour went down after one of them said they support Trump or something like that.
Who's the one?
Yeah, that's what it was. Under Armour said they supported Trump.
Well, but I think the
Steph
shitty
had them
shoes,
popping.
the shitty shoes didn't help either.
Listen,
They
the
came
shoe-
out the chefs.
There's an NBA guy.
Who's the Adidas one? Because Adidas is the hottest one right now.
James Harden.
Maybe the Hardens.
Yeah. Steph Curry sneakers are trash, but he made people wear them.
Yeah.
Which is like saying something.
Yeah, okay. All right, so back to Kanye.
Yeah.
I was watching, I'm ashamed to admit this, and I don't watch the show, so don't judge me, but I happen to watch the show because it was the robbery show on keeping up with the Kardashians, whatever the hell it's called.
Got you.
So I watched the whole episode.
Okay.
And I watched it with my daughter, which was a mistake because she was like, I love this show. Let's start taping. I'm like,
Oh
no.
my God.
My almost 12-year-old daughter. I was
Oh,
like, no,
why are you doing
we're
that,
not.
though?
No, I was like, no, you're not watching the show. I'll let you watch just about anything. I'm not letting you watch the Kardashians. But in this show, there's this whole French runway section with Kanye when he goes because they're going to walk the runway. And Kanye is giving them advice on, no, wear that outfit. No, you should try this dress. And I'm thinking like, I mean, great for him that he loves this. This is his hobby, but we've kind of fucking needed Kanye last year.
Yeah, man.
Out of all years
Yes.
for his music, I
Yes.
think 2016 would have been important.
Yes.
And he's in Paris,
He's
like
in the
telling,
sunken place. Have
telling
you seen the
Chloe
movie
what
Get
dress
Out?
to wear.
Have you seen the movie Get Out?
Yeah, I have.
Kanye's in the sunken place.
That's a great way to put
Somebody
it.
needs to flash him with a camera light and get him up out of that Kardashian world. Now, don't get me wrong. Life of Pablo was an amazing album too, by the way. I loved the Life of Pablo, but it's almost like nobody cared.
I thought Famous was like one of the 3 best songs he ever did.
Yes,
just for
Famous,
pure enjoyment. I just fucking love that song.
The joint with Chance the Rapper, Ultra Light
Waves is good
Beams.
too, yeah.
Oh my God. The what's it called? The 30 Hours. That that album was amazing.
No, he didn't get credit for it. I
He
agree
didn't
with
get
you.
credit for it all because his personality and everything that surrounds him is bigger than his music now. But the Kardashians are just boring, period. Like, because you know why? Because of the Trump administration. Like, I'd rather
Yeah.
keep up with the Trump administration than keep up with the Kardashians.
Keeping up with the Trumps.
Yeah, they're more entertaining. Like
Would
that.
Jared Kushner say anything? I like the SNL where Jimmy Fallon played Jared Kushner. He didn't say anything.
I didn't see
He
it.
was just mute.
I didn't see it.
They kept asking him questions, and he would just stay there like
If I don't
Nah.
catch SNL online,
keeping
and
up with
clips,
the Trumps.
I don't watch it.
So you would watch that?
Yes,
Is
I'm
the
watching
Karda-
it now. That's what CNN is. CNN is like the new E network. It is. CNN is the new E network. I'm watching it every day.
The Kardashians are like just about everything you're against. It's about 85% of all the
85
things that bug you, I would say.
85% of everything that bugs me because I think that they started.
Unearned fame.
Yeah, they started the era of people just wanting to be famous,
Right.
But they actually are making a lot of money.
Yes.
Everybody else that's chasing that dream of fame isn't making any money. Fame is not a foundation to stand on. Like I talk about that in the book as well. Like everybody, like we live in this era where everybody's chasing a celebrity, and,
Yeah.
and success is almost dictated by if you're a celebrity or not. But that's the stupidest mentality in the world. Like, success should always be subjective. Like me, I chose to be a radio personality, and that led to TV and books and movies and other things. But it's a guy living in Charlotte, North Carolina right now, making $50,000 to $60,000 a year,
and he hates you.
No, but no. He got a car. Right. He got a nice place to stay. His wife is good. His kids are good. He's happy. That's successful.
Right.
That's really successful. The American dream is not celebrity. It happens to some people, but everybody cannot chase being a celebrity.
I would say chasing celebrity, but also maintaining celebrity.
I don't care about maintaining celebrity.
No, I'm saying that's been the other part of this whole thing is people figuring out how to stay relevant.
Oh, yeah.
Maintain their relevance, whether they're doing little commercials or how they're doing social media.
Setting themselves on fire on social media.
Yeah, or little gimmicks to try to be relevant for a day.
Yeah. I talk about
that's more annoying than anything.
Very annoying. I got a principle in my book called Fuck Your Dreams, right? And it's fuck your dreams if they're not your dreams. Because, you know, when you grow up, especially as a black man in America, the people you see that are successful who look like you are usually in entertainment and athletics. So everybody runs to those fields, but that's not really your dream. You're just doing that because you seeing it work for somebody else. Right. So every now and then you need somebody to pull you to the side and say, fuck your dreams. I had somebody do that to me. I got a mentor named Dr. Robert Evans. I used to want to rap, and I had just started doing radio. So when I saw it working for Ludacris, and he was a rapper, and he was doing radio, I was like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. And he was like, no, you're not, because you suck as a rapper. But you're really good at radio. You should focus on that, because you can go from good to great. And that's what I did. Right. And now I'm sitting there talking to Bill Simmons, and I got a book out.
You should have that speech with Kanye about his fashion.
I did. The first time we interviewed him.
Yeah, that's true. You did.
I'm like, why?
That's why I got testy.
And guess what? It's cool if you want to chase the fashion world, great. Yeah. We just don't want to hear about it. Nobody cares about first world problems, bro. Motherfuckers is really out here going through real life shit. We don't care that the biggest issue in your world is that Louis Vuitton won't let you design somebody's silk underwear.
Isn't that the biggest? That's the curse of when musicians and comedians become super successful. Yeah, is that part of what made them successful is they were just like anyone else, and they're rapping about the stuff that, you know, resonates with anybody, or they're doing in their act, their stuff that people. Yeah. And then you hit a certain point. I always call it the Eddie Murphy syndrome, where, you know, he's still the most talented person of my lifetime, in my opinion.
Eddie's amazing.
And he gets to a point where he's just around 4 people. Yeah. And he's living in this mansion. Well, you know, how are you supposed to be funny if you're just in some mansion with you know, your cousin and your 3 buddies, and you can't go out because you're too famous? You're not having experiences.
Yeah, I mean, in the 48 Laws of Power, they talk about isolation being dangerous. Yes. But I mean, you can still make social observations. Like, it's not like
yes, but you're just doing it through TV.
Yeah, you know, you do got to interact, right?
Yeah, that's what made Eddie so great, and especially in the early 80s, was his ability to be like, here's an invitation to my uncle, and here's my grandmother, and here's celebrity, and he was always in it. And then after a while, I think that's why he hasn't wanted to do stand-up comedy.
I'm still looking for a comedian that can break down this new world we live in. You know, Chappelle kind of did it a little bit on his special when he talks about social media. I'm interested to see what Chris Rock does, but those guys are older.
Well, have you read about what Chris Rock's doing?
No.
Like, this new tour it's a lot about his divorce and, you know, relationships and stuff. I think it's dark. I don't think it's I think it's on Netflix. When it comes out on Netflix, I don't think it's what people are expecting. Chappelle felt like, I liked watching both of those. I still feel like the 3rd and 4th ones will be the ones. Yeah, he's coming back. It's almost like Jordan coming back from playing baseball for 2 years. Boom. He's got to get his rhythm and stuff back.
Because it seemed like a lot of old material. Kinda. Yeah, it didn't seem
kinda
like
evergreen.
Right now. Yeah. You're right. His 3rd and 4th will be better. I'm interested to see what Chris does, though. But like I said, I think we need like the younger guys to like navigate through this new social media world. Like, I like Gerard Carmichael. You ever talk to Gerard Carmichael?
You know, I thought his HBO special was really good. He's supposed to come on. Tommy's getting him at some point.
Gerard's funny. Cause
he's got a really unique rhythm to how he delivers the stuff too. He does. I can't really compare to him.
It's a little off kilter. Yeah. I like what he said about Jay-Z and Martin Luther King Jr. because a lot of people wouldn't say that out loud. Yeah. But it's a lot of kids who probably do feel like that because we are being more and more disconnected from our history. So we don't even really, I mean, not me because I understand, but a lot of kids don't even really understand what Martin Luther King Jr. meant. Right. They don't realize that you're actually sitting here. Me and you are sitting here doing this because of Martin Luther King Jr. You know what I mean? So when he said that Jay-Z means way more to me than Martin Luther King Jr., I understood it. A lot of people was like, oh, that's disrespectful. But I'm like, I get what he's saying.
He set it up really nicely. Like he was embarrassed about it. He wasn't proud of it.
Yes.
But
yeah.
And then he does it, and it's like, all right.
I mean, and he said, how many, I can quote damn near every Jay-Z lyric. I know like 2 bars from the I Have a Dream speech.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like if you, of course, in historical context, you know, of course, who's big. That might even be, no, I'm bullshitting. I'm about to say that might be debatable. No, yeah, you know who's bigger. You know what I mean? But that's true, a true statement. Like I can't sit here and quote the I Have a Dream speech.
How did you feel post Lemonade? What's the move for Jay-Z now?
I think Jay-Z's doing everything right.
Okay.
And the reason I say I think he's doing everything right is Jay-Z is a perfect example of constantly growing, constantly evolving, but somehow finds a way to still remain grounded. And it's like we've been taking this journey with him since Reasonable Doubt. Like literally, he's showing us where he's at. He's showing us every point in his life through his music, from Reasonable Doubt to In My Lifetime, to Hard Knock Life, to, you know, the Blueprint. Like he just showed us, even, you know, when he puts out songs about Blue Ivy being born, you know, when he'll get on the All the Way Up remix and give you a couple little bars about the elevator incident. Like, you know exactly where Jay-Z is at every point in his life. We've watched him grow. We've watched him evolve. He's the guy that we constantly root for because he's the person that's really moving the culture forward and showing us that it really can be done. He's the epitome of black privilege, the epitome of it. So it's just like, I feel like he's doing everything right. And he put a lot of people on. That's the thing I like. See, I'm the type of person, I like to throw more assists than I do score. Like Jay-Z's a great scorer, but I mean, come on, Rihanna's his artist, Kanye's his artist, J. Cole, like, you know, like these are his artists. Like he had record labels, Beanie Siegel, Memphis Bleak, like he's put so many people on. I feel like that's how you continue to empower yourself and why he's looked at as the Don he is now.
What was it, like 4 or 5 years ago when he had the New York song that was played for a year straight?
Empire State of Mind. You know, that was his first #1 single ever?
It's a great song, but it's also like the all-time Irrational Confidence song because he's basically saying like, "I own New York. I'm the most important person." But it, like nobody called him out on it. People,
it's kind of right.
It was kind of right. People were like, I want to fight this, but I can't.
Who's more influential?
It was unbelievable.
And I'm gonna tell you,
I can see LeBron writing that about like Cleveland.
Yeah.
But Jay-Z's like, I own New York, and here's a song about it that's really good.
I mean,
and you're all gonna listen to it for a year.
You land at the airport. You hear Empire State of Mind. This one I knew things had really changed.
Oh yeah.
I was doing a New Year's Eve special for MTV. Ball drops. First song they play. Frank Sinatra. New York, New York. When Frank Sinatra went off, guess what they played? Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z.
And in that song, he's telling us that he's the new Sinatra.
Yeah. I was like, wow. And the crowd, the energy never shifted.
Right.
The energy went from Frank Sinatra, New York. Everybody loved that song. You know, hugging, kissing. Empire State of Mind. Oh, even a bigger pop. So I was like, wow.
It's in the top 2. And then New York State of Mind, Billy Joel, which I think has endured too. And that's like 40 years old now. But that's more like a love letter to New York.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's like, I own New York. I'm the guy now.
And New York State of Mind by Nas.
Oh yeah,
that was on Illmatic album.
Yeah,
that's for the old school New York when you get slashed across the face with a razor blade. Yeah, and robbed for your Pelly on the subway train. That's the old school New York.
Have you had Jay-Z on the show?
Yeah, we had Jay-Z on. That was another one. That was another one
kind of secretly boring, right?
No, that was a great interview.
Really?
Yeah, man, it was a great interview for me because I'm a Jay-Z fan, and it was like just historical hip hop questions. I always wanted to ask Jay and get his opinion, like how people say things like he wouldn't be where he is if Biggie was still alive. Or like underground stuff like people said Jay-Z took young Chris from Philadelphia style. Like things like that. And he wasn't opposed to answering any of them. Or even like, you know, rumors about Beyonce faking her pregnancy. Like he was open to talking about that.
I mean, The Pillow came out that one time when she sat down, remember?
It did?
No, there was this internet photo that people claimed she was sitting down and like the alleged pillow in her stomach bent forward, and people have gotten 6 years of mileage.
Yeah. So I mean, Jay's always a great interview. All those guys like that are great interviews. Those guys that came up in the 90s, early 2000s, like they got the best stories. Those are the people you actually learn from. Like I like interviewing guys like you because I can learn from you.
Right.
Like I don't want to sit there and talk to somebody I know I got more money than. You know what I'm saying? I got somebody I know is not going to be around next year. Like, what's the point?
The third lead in Two Broke Girls.
Yes. Exactly. The third
so you're the
girl.
chef.
Yeah. The third broke girl who's really broke in real life. Her. Yeah. Absolutely.
When I had KD and Nas on.
Yes.
when you were talking about how you want to learn from people and how like the best possible thing for you is when something unexpected.
Yeah.
It was so cool. That was one of my favorite things I've ever done because they didn't really know each other, but there was a common link that they didn't totally know they had.
Hip hop, probably.
Well, and also that Durant this is the summer he's taking all the shit for his decision, and Nas had been in the same shoes
When
to
he signed
some
to Jay-Z?
degree. Yeah. So this whole sellout, you joined a better team type thing, and as it's going, and I didn't want to be, overt about trying to be like, "Ugh," but I was trying to nudge him there, and at some point I saw it click with Nas, and then he's like. He had some moment where he's like, and I look at this young fellow over here and I see, and then he started doing exactly what I kind of hoped he would see.
Yeah.
It was fucking cool.
And
Nas is like, he's like Confucius.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I just feel like he should just walk around just spouting wisdom. And
he doesn't do a
people
lot of
lesson.
interviews.
I know, he doesn't do anything.
At all. He's never done the Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Seriously?
No, he's never done. Nas does not do a lot of interviews. Like even if you go online, you're not gonna find like an overabundance of like long form Nas interviews. Like you might get some clips here and there, him saying some things, but I can't think of a real in-depth Nas interview.
If I had him for like over an hour, it's his connection with Biggie was the most fascinating thing to me coming out of that because he brought it up a couple different times and just almost like there was a sense of loss.
Yeah.
That just as a competitive musician, that it was just good to have Biggie in his life. It would have made him a little bit better.
Made him better.
That's the feeling I got. And I never thought about that before.
I love Nas. Nas is one, in my book, Black Privilege, I talk a lot about artists whose music resonated with me because they had a lot of socially conscious things in their music. Because I come from a small town called Moncks Corner, South Carolina. And for me, I was able to transcend my circumstances because of literature and because of music. And Nas was one of those guys who would be saying certain things in his rhymes that would make me go research. I'd be going to research certain people, going to research certain places, certain books and things he would name drop. And like I feel like his song, I did a Black Privilege playlist for Tidal, and he did a song called I Can. And I feel like that song is the epitome of just anybody embracing their divine privilege, embracing what they are and who they are and saying, I can do anything I want to on this planet because God made me and God put me here. And that record, Nas I Can, is like the soundtrack to that whole book.
He has my second favorite, most improbable Instagram account.
Really?
That I enjoy, other than KG's, which is the goat of Instagram accounts.
I haven't seen KG's account.
KG's account is incredible.
I give KG.
It's KG's account I would pay for. If it was like KG's Instagram account is now $10 a month, I'd be like, done. I'll put it in PayPal.
I gotta follow Kevin Gunn.
Because he'll just be like, I'm on the beach with Rasheed Wallace. And then the next one is like, I'm in my man cave with Andre Miller.
I get
on TNT. And then the next one's like, I'm in Greece with Paul Pierce.
Wow.
I don't know. I just enjoy it.
He does a show, right? KG 21 or something?
Yeah, Area 21.
I gave him Donkey of the Day recently.
You did?
Yeah, because it was some word. What was the word? He was trying to pronounce it on his show. It was like it was like undisputedly or something. And I don't know what the fuck came out of his mouth. Like it sounded like it sounded like if you muted the TV and Busta Rhymes was rapping and it was this mad closed caption and exclamation marks.
Yeah.
I did not understand what he said. But it's like he didn't even attempt the word. He just like, you know how you're reading the prompter and you see the word and you know it's something you can't pronounce. So you just try to like brush over it.
Yeah.
He did that and I had to give him Donkey of the Day for it. KG's from South Carolina too, though. I respect KG a lot.
He is all charisma on TV because if you ran a transcript of what he actually said, it's all like, I'm with Charlemagne. That's my dude. He's right here. He's the best. That's my guy. It's just that for a minute. And then, nothing's actually said.
Yeah.
But it feels like something important's happening when you watch it. He's a very charismatic guy. All right, ESPN.
Oh, no, every
what
time,
happened today?
It never fails. Every time before I come see you when I'm in LA, I end up doing Sports Center with my homegirl, Carrie Champion. Salute to Carrie. She's a real good friend of mine.
I love Carrie Champion.
Oh, she's amazing. And so I was on there just now promoting my book, and her co-host, David Lloyd, they do this top 5 list. So today it was top 5 books.
Yeah.
So Carrie had some great books. Carrie had like Pyramids of Success by John Wooden. She had, I think it's Life and Times of Muhammad Ali. And like David had like Friday Night Lights, which was a good book. But then he had Seabiscuit. So as soon as I saw Seabiscuit, I got pissed off. I don't know why. Seabiscuit pisses me the fuck off. I hate the movie. I don't like the book.
The movie was terrible.
That's why I go. I go. David's list is trash. I go. Seabiscuit is trash. Horse racing is trash. It's just trash. Yeah. And I just like he was like, well, so Carrie was like, yo, you need to apologize to him. That's fuck is you doing? She didn't say fuck is you doing, but like,
Right.
you can't.
That
talk-
would've been awesome if
Why?
she said
Why would
that.
you say that to my co-host? Whatever.
Yeah.
So then on Twitter just now, Jamel Hill gave David props for a book he posted, and then he tweets out.
Oh, so that was a subtweet by Jamel.
Yeah. I don't think it was a substitute, but he retweeted it and goes, "Well, not according to Charlemagne the God." So,
Oh, man.
I'm like, well, damn, David, I didn't mean to.
I knew you guys were going to feud at some point.
So I just apologized to him on Twitter. Like, I didn't think your whole list was trash. But
Yeah.
I just don't fuck with Seabiscuit.
Right.
I just don't do
It's
it.
nothing he did. You just don't like
Nothing he did. As soon as
Seabiscuit.
I see Seabiscuit, I just go to a dark place. I can't
Yeah.
stand. Like, I can't stand it. You gave a whole movie about fucking horse racing.
Well, and then it led to the second movie led to the Secretariat movie.
Seabiscuit had a sequel.
Yeah, well, it was basically a sequel, Secretariat, which is the same movie, just different horse.
See, who the fuck? Nobody. The only horse people give a fuck about is Mr. Ed, bro. If Mr. Ed is the only horse anybody has historically ever cared about, what other horse did people care about other than Mr. Ed?
Secretariat.
Really?
Greatest
Never
horse
heard of
ever.
him.
Made the Sports Century list of greatest athletes. It
That's
was like
whack. No.
19th is the best athlete. I think
Not-
it was ahead of Bill Russell.
I'm not doing it. The
Yeah.
only thing you should give props to horses about is their dick size. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Secretariat was hung like a horse.
That's it. Everything else, it's trash. Seabiscuit. I can't stand it. I hate it.
How would you fix ESPN? Because they're spending a lot of time trying to fix ESPN right now.
Honestly, I would have more people of the culture on ESPN. Like I love Carrie on.
Aren't they doing that though?
They are, but I think they should do more of it. Like okay, it's odd sometimes because you'll have Carrie, and
Yeah.
then you'll have somebody like David Lloyd on
Yeah.
the same show. Right? And not saying that David's not good. I'm just saying it's odd because I wasn't
Yeah.
disrespecting him when I saying his list is trash. That's just how we talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Michael Smith would have understood that.
Yeah.
And Michael Smith would have pushed back, like, my list ain't trash, bro. Like, he'd
Yeah.
have pushed back, wouldn't have just been like, what does he mean trash? Like garbage? Like, because in his mind, he's thinking literal trash. Like, he's thinking about trash day.
Right.
He's thinking about when the garbage man doesn't come and pick up his shit. Like, I know that's what he's thinking about. So I just think you need more people of the culture. Like, I love the six with Michael Smith and Jamel Hill.
Okay.
And I love the fact that all of them are doing things outside of sports. Because sports is like pop culture. It's blended in with politics now. It's blended in with music. So it's good that they have such diverse guests that come on the show. I just think they need to do a little bit more with their
I used to take shit for that last decade.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, being diverse or?
No, yeah, being diverse. No, like mixing sports, pop culture, all these different things.
But that's all they
ESPN
do
last
now.
decade was basically, it's got to be sports. And then I would try to mix stuff up and they would get mad at me.
Sports it's just not that interesting anymore.
Well-
Not overall. Like, it's all the subplots that come with sports. It's what people are tweeting. And like you said, KG on his Instagram, like what people are doing. Like, people care about more than just what you did on the
It's the
court that
culture
day.
around sports.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they got a little upset too on ESPN because I said that baseball is trash. It was way better when everybody was on steroids. It was, though.
Not untrue.
Steroid era was way better.
Baseball feels like each year it becomes less relevant until the playoffs.
I don't even watch the playoffs
it's
anymore.
becoming like a 6-month sport. People still watch the playoffs.
Yeah.
But like right now, if we just started talking about Bryce Harper for 10 minutes, whoever's listening to this on in their car or when they're working out, we're out. They're just bumping us off.
I don't even know who the fuck Bryce Harper is. I told
That'd be a terrible
I was
conversation.
talking to Tommy earlier. I said I couldn't name you one baseball player. Like, none. I don't know any baseball players.
Gladwell has this theory that I wish I had thought of and I love and I'm very jealous of it. But he said on my podcast about how the NBA is one of the only things left that's in the middle.
What does
Where
that
you
mean?
have all these different things about life right now, sports, music, pop culture, whatever. It's all these little niches.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all like over here and it's over there and everybody's got their little things that they love. But the NBA is one of the only things that people of all different types of experiences, cultures,
Yeah.
ethnicities, class, doesn't matter. Like everybody's got an opinion on the NBA playoffs right now. Somebody like Westbrook, which is funny because 40 years ago, the NBA, as we talked about when I was on your show, the NBA, the rap on it was too black and the fans were too white. And how could this make sense? And now it's like, I would say 20 of the 25 most marketable American athletes are basketball players.
Yeah,
it's completely flipped and it's in the middle, which
Yeah.
I think is a good thing.
I think it's a great thing, but there's nobody in their right mind who should ever complain about the NBA being too black. Because
Well, that hasn't happened for 20 years.
Yeah, because if the NBA was white, it'd be baseball. Like, nobody would give a fuck. What white NBA player is amazing?
It was a storyline in the late 90s when the guys were making a lot of money and the hip hop influence had drifted into the league.
Yeah, Allen Iverson.
And it was a lot. They put the dress code in.
Yeah.
If you go back and read Sports Illustrated, some of the publications back then, they're always like, what does the NBA do about it's all coded.
Yeah.
Their problem connecting to fans. And it's like, what do you mean connecting to fans? Because their guys are making rap albums and wearing jogging suits to games and stuff. Like, so
what happened to the NBA dress code? Do they still do that?
Well, the guys care about how they look now.
Yeah, I think they're scared to implement a dress code now because they'll be like, I don't want to offend anybody's sexuality. Like, look what he's wearing.
Well, yeah, it's
like his jeans are really skinny. He's got on the
you saw
pre-pants.
Russell Westbrook's thing yesterday, right?
Straight 80s.
He had like huge hole in his jeans.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that they put so much thought into that.
Yeah.
Like it's a must-win game in Houston. He's like, where are my jeans with the giant hole in them?
Russell Westbrook's amazing though, man.
So you're pro Westbrook.
I'm definitely
we're
pro
taping
Westbrook.
this after game 2 and he took 18 shots in the fourth quarter, which I've never seen in my life.
Why wouldn't he? Who's he? Who else is going to shoot on the Thunder?
See, I can't stand this.
I'm serious.
This is the way. That's no.
Who else?
No. Your list is trash.
I don't understand how he averaged 10 assists a game. I'm like, who's he passing the ball to?
Oh, please.
Seriously?
The Westbrook defenders I can't take.
Who is he though? Who's he passing the ball to?
Ask yourself this. If you're in his team and you barely ever get to shoot, and then in the fourth quarter he's going to shoot every time, and then the one time you get past the ball you're expected to make the shot, is that a good place to be in as a basketball player?
So how is he averaging 10 assists a game?
Well, because the defenses are shading over at him all the time, but he also has the ball all the time. Like they had 20 assists total in that game. He had 13. They took like 95 shots in that game. He took 43.
Yeah.
Like you can't win that way. It's never worked.
Maybe he needs a.
You gotta trust your teammates, man.
You gotta trust your teammates. But
you can't do your breakfast club and just be like, I'm talking the whole time. Everybody shut up.
Oh, no, that's
and then
not gonna
Angela, in an hour, I'm going to say something to you. Just be ready. Like, you can't do that.
You think that's why KD left?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think that in Oklahoma City.
Why couldn't no coach reel that in, though? Like, why couldn't the coach reel that in and say, Westbrook, you cannot shoot 50 times a game?
Some guys are just, that's the thing that makes him great, is he really felt every time that he was the right guy to take the shot. He's got so much confidence. So much swagger.
And you don't want to deter that.
No. You let it ride.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the big thing with Kobe. Phil Jackson was always, starting in like 2003, Phil Jackson's always trying to figure out how to, pull the steering wheel away from him a little while, keep the teammates involved. And Kobe had a lot of struggles with that. And then he finally settled into a selfish place that was still okay, beneficial.
I'd rather tell people that I'd rather have to pull somebody back from doing too much
than
have to tell them, have to push them.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a problem with what Westbrook does. It's just like, how do you figure out how to just pull it back a little bit?
Here's the thing. You can't say winning is the most important thing when you're trying a style that has never won. What he's trying to do with the ball and how much he has it and how many times he shoots and how he monopolizes it, we have a 70-year track record of this not working.
Yeah.
It's never succeeded at any real level.
Maybe.
So why do it?
Maybe Westbrook's just realizing I don't need to be here anymore. maybe
he's
he's
thinking
upset.
about LA.
Yeah, maybe he's upset he signed that 3-year extension. Maybe he's like, I should get the fuck out of here too.
But they have good. I mean, they paid Oladipo like almost $100 million.
Yeah,
and he's gotten worse in the last year. They paid Cantor like $75 million or something. He can barely play in this series. Adams is going to get paid. He's getting worse.
I like Adams, but I'll never forgive them for letting go of James Harden. I feel like that was the beginning of the end right
Well,
there.
you're preaching the choir on that.
I feel like they should have kept.
It was like over $5 million.
Yeah, keep those three together.
How about this? Keep the team that almost won the finals the year before. Let's see how that works.
Keep it together.
Yeah.
I would have let Harden play the point though. I'd let Harden play the point. Let Russell play the two.
What they had with Harden that year before, he was basically like their version of Manu, coming off the bench, completely changing games. He was only like 22.
That's what I'm saying. They should have never let that nucleus go. There might be 2 or 3 championships in if they kept that team together.
They outsmart. I think it's the best what if of this decade.
I wonder why they let him go though.
It was part money. It was they just got cheap, and I think it's almost inexplicable. I actually think that at the time they really thought they made a good trade. I think they liked the trade.
Yeah.
That was the weirdest part of it.
I think one day
they liked getting the lottery pick. They liked Kevin Martin. They thought Kevin Martin could replace his offense. They liked Jeremy Lamb.
Yeah, James Harden is like that girl that you used to date, and like he was cool when he was with you.
Yeah.
But then when she leaves, you think like, oh, she's gonna fall off. But then she goes and gets hotter.
Yeah.
So now you're kicking yourself like, shit. I should have never let her go.
Yeah, I think it's way worse. It's even worse than that.
Yeah,
you can go
man.
find another girl. You can't find another James Harden.
You can't find another James
You can't
Harden.
find another championship window.
And they would have stayed together. Those three would have stayed together. because they'd have been winning chips. Oklahoma City would have been the most popping team in the freaking country. They would have to change the jerseys because jerseys are trash. But they would have been popping.
Have you been to a game there?
No, I heard it's like a college feeling though.
Have you been to Oklahoma City?
No, that's what I was about to say.
Maybe that's why KD wanted to leave.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Oklahoma, how the fuck would I be in Oklahoma City? Only thing I know about Oklahoma City is Fort Sill. Is that even in Oklahoma City?
It's a nice little town. I enjoyed my time there for a couple of days.
You got some pussy out there?
I wouldn't. No, I don't know if I'd want to live there if I was Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant's now. He's in the Bay Area.
So what made you like
great.
it?
I mean, you know, I always judge this stuff when I'm traveling for sports stuff. It's like, is it compact?
Yeah.
Can I just walk around? Can I go to the game? Can I, like, Atlanta to me is like the worst case scenario for going to write about the finals or something for a week.
Gotcha.
So Atlanta is just like, you know, everything's in a different play. Everything's 20 minutes from everything.
Oh, absolutely.
So
that's the thing with Kevin Durant is I like Kevin Durant, but I just feel like when you do those superpower teams, the rings don't mean as much. It just doesn't. Like, I mean, I always said that if LeBron won one ring in Cleveland, that's like 6 in Miami.
How did LeBron not do that with Cleveland?
What do you mean?
He went to Cleveland. They had Kyrie Irving, who was the number 1 pick in the whole draft. They had Thompson there already, and they had another number 1 pick in the whole draft that they flipped for Kevin Love.
Oh,
like, that was a super team.
Yeah, not really.
KG formed a super team.
Yeah, but KG's team had already won a championship. Like, let's be clear, Golden State doesn't need Kevin Durant.
No, KG's team, the Celtics hadn't won in like
KG.
22 years.
I thought you said KD.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, the Celtics were a little bit different, but LeBron leaving to go to Miami and teaming up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, for whatever reason, that just seemed like the Legion of Doom at the time. But to go back to Cleveland, first of all, let's be clear. Nobody goes back to Cleveland. All right? You don't go back to Cleveland. He actually went back to Cleveland and won a ring like that. He's good. That's why I hate when people always try to compare him to Michael Jordan, because it's 2 different legacies total.
And it's 2 different eras.
2 different eras.
Jordan would have played for 20 years if he had all the stuff that they have now.
How much would he have averaged a game?
Probably more at his peak.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the hand check rules and stuff, but they didn't know about napping. They didn't know about dieting. They didn't have the hyperbaric chambers.
Yeah, but they rested
They
now.
didn't. Yeah, I just think he would have taken advantage of some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the chemicals. Just kidding.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
I want to see the best possible product on the goddamn court, on the football field, on the baseball field. Performance-enhancing drugs don't make scrub players superstars. They just make superstars even bigger superstars.
Who would have been your dream dad for Serena's baby?
Common. Anybody from first of all, Common is from the culture. I'm gonna tell you something. That Serena Williams situation really pisses me off.
Oh no!
Because I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh no!
Once
we're both gonna get in trouble.
Once again, black men have let white men make better choices than them. Drake and Common dated Serena Williams. Neither one of them proposed to her. Neither one of them shot her club up.
The all-time catch.
Yeah, come on. You don't try to get Serena Williams pregnant. You don't marry Serena Williams. Drake and Common, like, what's wrong? Serena Williams.
I know.
Arguably the greatest athlete
I would say
ever.
LeVar Arrington blew it up too. He was there for a while. Remember LeVar was in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Serena Williams? You let this guy come from a whole nother country and shoot her club up? Like, come on, bro. Like, that, no, that's terrible. That's disgusting. I hate that.
I just think she's the greatest athlete we ever produced.
She's up there, man. She's up there.
I would have loved to.
She's up there. I mean, I think Michael Jordan was a great athlete.
I mean, greatest female athlete.
Bo Jackson.
No, greatest female athlete. I should have said.
I'll say athlete. Period. I put her in that category.
She's certainly the most successful athlete we've ever had.
More than Michael Jordan?
Well, yeah.
How?
If you look at, well, first of all, Michael Jordan only won 6 rings. If you're going by success, Bill Russell's the most successful athlete.
Okay.
But Serena, you're going from, 99 to 2017? 18 years. She's so far above whoever the next one is.
Yeah, all of that is subjective, too. I guess it's based on how much, it's generational, and it's based on how much you care about the individual sport. Because I love tennis, but I don't think tennis is the degree of difficulty isn't like basketball, football, even baseball, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
The difficulty for tennis is once they climb the mountain, because it's so hard to get there and it's so boring to play, and you're by yourself for 10 hours a day. And they get there, they're at the top, and they none of them can stay there for that long.
Yeah.
Because the discipline you needed to get there, once you achieve it, you're like, fuck, all right. Now what do? I just got to protect this every year.
You're going to love this, but the person we're taking for granted right now who possibly may be the greatest athlete ever is Tom Brady. And the reason I say that...
I need to take a shower. This is the nicest thing you've ever done for me.
But the reason I say that is because of the degree of difficulty of football.
Yeah.
Like, it's the not for long league for real. Like, you're supposed to be... He's supposed to be done.
Luck. Yeah.
Yes. Like, look at Romo. Romo is gone. Peyton Manning is gone. Like, they're gone probably because of injuries. Like,
he's only had one bad injury.
Yeah.
He's been really good at not taking big hits unless he has to, like if he's getting sacked or something. But he picks his spots. He gets rid of the ball fast. Good system. Keeps himself in amazing shape.
He's been to the Super Bowl 7 times.
He's 40 years old this year. He turns 40 in August.
He might. It's not even a might. Tom Brady is probably the greatest athlete of all time. Based off the degree of difficulty of football and how successful he's been in that sport, I think he's number one.
He's certainly won the Peyton Manning argument.
That's not even close.
He's in the conversation for best football player ever from the length of how long he played, I think.
He's not the best. You don't consider him the best quarterback ever now?
No, he's the best quarterback.
Okay.
I'm saying if you're going to start a franchise with any football player, I think you would probably pick him because of how long he played.
Absolutely.
And how good he was.
Absolutely.
But now it's like, now he's heading into this Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali territory.
He's there already.
Going,
come on.
I didn't want to say it. I'm a homer. If I say it, people just think I'm being a homer.
No, he's there. First of all, I've never seen anybody beat the internet. Tom Brady beat the internet. Because if you watch that Super Bowl game, every slanderous meme, the Michael Jordan face was like 75, 80% on Brady. 3 quarters, killing. Then all of a sudden, it's like he just shifted the whole tide and came back and won the Super Bowl. And everybody just had to delete their memes and start sucking his dick. Like it literally went from the utmost Tom Brady slander to lining up to suck his fucking cock. So it's like, I've never seen that before in my life. I think Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of all time.
I wasn't on the internet during that because I was too busy having a stroke, but I can only imagine how
was that for you?
I was with my dad and I was with my fam. I had it switch seats at halftime for better luck. Never gave up. Couldn't give up. How am I going to give up on Tom Brady? We're down 25, and I'm still like doing the math in my head for how they can come back.
Yeah, you Patriots fans are fanatical. I got a friend named G Spin. He's from Boston too. I think he went to the same school or something, but he was like at the end of the game, he was like, I gotta go hug my kids and my mom, my wife. I'm like, you weren't playing.
I know.
What do you gotta go hug your kids and your wife for? Like I said, a reaction I was looking for.
It got personal because of the whole Deflategate thing, you know, and it was like his legacy was being besmirched, and then it was like, oh, he's gonna come back. They suspended him 4 games. He's gonna come back anyway. Try to win the Super Bowl. He's gonna shove it right up Goodell's ass.
Yeah,
and then we're down 28-3.
How do you think Goodell felt in that moment? Because Goodell probably had a sigh of relief, like, oh, I don't got to present him the trophy.
He was fine. They changed his battery. He was good.
You got to take your anxiety
They took the battery out of his back, put another one in.
Listen,
they reprogrammed it.
I don't think there's a better athlete on the planet than Tom Brady. I truly mean that. I
seriously want to like pop open champagne right now. I'm so happy. This is so nice.
But it's because of the degree of difficulty of football.
Yeah.
Like it's just that simple. Football is the most dangerous sport out there. He's prospered in it for years. He's about to be 40.
The only good thing is they did tweak the rules so that quarterbacks took a little bit less punishment, but he's still like, if you watch that Atlanta game, he gets hit like 12 times in that game hard. His head hits the ground at one point. He probably got concussed, didn't tell anybody.
Are there any quarterbacks left from Brady's era? No, right?
No, not from 2000.
Yeah, everybody's come and gone. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
He won a Super Bowl last year.
And he grew hair. He's got more hair now.
All right.
Anybody who can grow it, like him and LeBron, you can regenerate your own hairline. Like that's really,
you're right, Bill.
You're at a whole other level.
You're right. He's on performance enhancing drugs. You're right. You're right. I feel sorry for LeBron though, because LeBron don't have a hairline, and he does so much for the community, so much for the city of Cleveland. He deserves to have a hairline.
Well, now he has one. What rapper do you think has taken the most performance enhancing drugs? 50 Cent? Somebody else?
No, Dr. Dre. Remember when Dr. Dre was big as an ox at one point? Dr. Dre was super diesel.
He got huge.
Yeah, like, I mean, unbelievable. Like, he's about to play the Incredible Hulk in the next Avengers movie or something. Like, he was huge. Like, absolutely. It was not even close.
What do you think Dr. Dre does every day? What's his average day like? Be nice. Don't get me in trouble.
No, I like Dr. Dre. I think he probably gets up, goes to the gym, and Dr. Dre probably fights.
Takes business calls?
Maybe, probably with just one person, Jimmy Iovine. But
does he make music, do you think, anymore?
I
or
don't
no?
think so. You know why? I think Dre's one of those people who's in his own way because of his genius. Because when you're on Dr. Dre's level, you're only fighting against yourself. Like literally, you're only fighting against yourself, who you are.
Right.
So in your mind, you're constantly saying, well, damn, if I can't make something better than this, I can't make something better than that. And he's probably making the most amazing shit. But to his ear, it's probably just subpar. But if he was to like let somebody else hear it, they'd probably be like, oh, that's amazing, put that out. Because his last album, Compton, was a great album. But they say he sat on that music for so long.
It was too long. Because you reach a point where you don't mean anything to anyone under 30.
If I was
you stay away for that long.
Boom, that's a great point. And he's like Dre's like 50 plus.
Yeah.
If I was Dre, I would just give my music to other artists and not even say it's me. Like I would give my production to other
do
people.
a Garth Brooks and have a fake name.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even tell people it's me. I'll just sit back and get the reaction off it. And then like
Dr. Dre should do that.
Yeah, and then like 5 years later, when everybody's talking about how great this project was and that project was, yeah, Dre did that under the alias fucking, Billionaire Beats or some crazy shit like that.
Who has the championship belt right now? Kendrick?
That's a good question. I mean, Drake still reigns supreme. Drake still got the reins.
So you think Drake, when he's in concert, he could bring a championship belt and nobody would give a shit about it?
I think right now is Kendrick's season, but it's such a weird time because everything's so fleeting. So it's like...
Well, it's like sports.
It's like sports. So I got to give it to the guys like Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, because for whatever reason, they remain relevant all the time. People still care about their products when they drop. So those three are kind of like going back and forth.
Don't get Tate started about J. Cole.
You like Cole?
I'm from North Carolina.
I'm from South Carolina. I love J. Cole. I love everything he stands for, but I just think some of his music...
You praise Tom Brady and J. Cole in 5 minutes. Like Tate and I might maul you.
But his music is boring, though. I can't put
him on that level with those guys.
No, he is, though. Like if
me personally, I'm just saying I can't.
I can't ride around listening to J. Cole. Like I got to be in the mood to listen to J. Cole.
I don't think you really know who you are as an artist until you take just an incredible amount of shit for something. Like Drake.
So Drake's the man then.
Views was not that bad.
It wasn't that good either.
It wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad. Now it's being treated like it was the Titanic.
But
it just wasn't.
That's his
fault.
Wasn't
that bad.
It goes back to what we were just talking about. It's like when you put yourself like the Dr. Dre thing. Like Drake has made so much incredible music, but everybody's waiting for this one incredible body of work from him, and he hasn't given it to.
That's a good thing. But people don't treat J. Cole like that. I don't think. I mean, maybe there's a certain element of people that do, but not in a mainstream way.
Yeah, Cole's got a cult-like following.
Yeah,
like he's got. Like,
he's actually in a place that's probably easier to deal with creatively.
Yeah, and Kendrick though, because they come and go as they please.
Well, Kendrick's in the best place you could be, I think.
Kendrick album, the new album, man.
He's famous, but he's not too famous.
Yeah.
His decisions, for the most part, people always respect and know that he puts thought into them.
But we take them for granted.
Taken for granted? That's a good thing to be taken for granted.
I definitely took this album for granted because it's a great album.
Yeah.
But it's like watching LeBron average 38 and 9.
Right.
You're just used to it. You know what I mean? Like he didn't take things to the next level for me with this album.
It's like, why didn't you get score 50?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I like the new Kendrick album. Damn, I think it's great, but I'm just like, all right, that's just Kendrick being Kendrick. Like I'm not wowed.
I appreciate it as a writer that how he did the titles for the songs and how they looked collectively. I thought that I like little stuff like that.
Yeah,
I wish
like
people
pain,
did that.
lust,
it's just like, it was all one word things. It was caps. It was like if you looked at it collectively, it almost looked like a poem.
And less is more.
That was cool.
The album title, Damn, with a period.
Yeah,
I like stuff like that. I like simplicity.
I want to have him on. You've had Kendrick, right?
Yeah, my co-host Angela Yee actually was the first person that ever gave Kendrick Lamar a radio interview ever, like ever. The first time I met Kendrick Lamar was through Angela Yee because Angela Yee used to do these bowling parties in New York, and literally this was like 2009. We talk about this all the time. I walked up to Kendrick, and I go, "Yo, I wear a size 12 bowling shoe. Can you go give me a size 12?" I thought he worked there. Because that's how much of he did not look like a star at all. Like he just looked. I literally thought he was working in there, and I was like, "Oh man, my bad." Because that's when Angela walked up, like, "This is Kendrick Lamar," and I was like, "Oh my bad, I apologize, my brother. I didn't mean that." But we talk about that all the time. Like, and Top Dog. I remember one time Top Dog saw me, and he was like, "Does Kendrick look like a star to you now?" I said, "Yeah, he does. Because he is now." You know what I'm saying? But at the time, but he's no different. He's the same guy. It's just that once you sell some albums and you get that light on you. Now we can see it. Right. At the time, he really looked like he was supposed to be getting me a size 12 bowling shoe.
We have to go.
Yes,
Charlamagne the God, Black Privilege.
Opportunity comes to those who create it.
I predicted that as well on the old bestseller list.
It's doing pretty good right now, man.
You have something that really helps with these books, which is you can drive people the awareness that it's out.
Platforms are very important.
Platforms are good for you. Anything else you want to plug?
Just the book, man. It's out right now. You can go get it on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, seatofgodworld.com, and continue to listen to The Breakfast Club. And Bill, thank you for having me, man.
And you can see Charlamagne on season 9 and Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Absolutely not.
No. Oh, sorry. My bad.
Kardashians are trash.
Thank you. All right, thanks to SeatGeek. Don't forget to download the SeatGeek app today or go right to SeatGeek.com. And if you're a Celtics fan, go to SeatGeek. Get some Celtics Bulls tickets for Game 4. Thanks to Blue Apron. Thanks to Tay Frazier for letting me bounce off some mailbag questions and some thoughts at the start of the podcast. Thanks to Charlamagne. Don't forget to listen to DeZeus and Mero and our NBA podcast mailbag. And we have a bunch of good stuff coming next week. Also, banked a podcast with the South Park guys. That's coming. Matt and Trey. We've had Matt on the podcast before, but never Matt and Trey together, and it's a good one. So I think we're running it at some point next week or by the latest, like May 2nd, but that's happening. Good times. That's it. Thanks for supporting the BS podcast. We'll talk to you next week.